education, really. So I got some things just kind of circling around my head and my heart about the whole racism thing. It's imperfect, so I hope that it comes out as well as anyone could expect. There are 30,000 genes in the human body, and only 6 of them make up the color of your skin. So to call a black person a nigger or a white person a cracker gives no kin to you being kin to the world that we are in. We're made up of mixes and blends and hues of culture. It is those who only chase after the economic dollar sign that wish to throw these kind of separations on top of our culture. They're vultures, constantly picking at our carcasses as if we didn't make this dollar as good as it is supposed to be. If they keep us undereducated, then they can always tell us what we should call each other. Why would I call my brother a nigger? Figure this. They give us negativity and we switch it into positive, but they still make it negative. You're smelling it, I'm cooking in my kitchen. My mind and my heart always wraps around these kinds of things. Why did Dr. King get shot on the second floor of the Lorraine Motel and then they pin it on James Earl? There was no James Earl. There was only Dr. King addressing an economic situation. This is the situation of hatred. The recession didn't really have an affecting on the poor people because they were already used to living without. It was those that were all the way up at the top of the high rise who were living in doubt, jumping out just because they were missing a few dollars and they couldn't wear furs. Those of us at the bottom are still eating ramen noodles, soup out of a can, trying to be a man while feeding our fam. They have us standing in the welfare line so we can be dependent on them, and then they call it racism. The young need to be educated. You might be able to say the word, but do you know what the word is and what the word means? If you constantly dwell in negativity, how can you ever lift your self-esteem? And a lot of kids that are in the hood throwing these words around don't know what self-esteem means. Better yet, they just cannot dream outside of the box that they have already been locked in by the Loch Ness monster. These things are monstrous. I feel like Osama bin Laden was just an illusion to cause us mass confusion. And they'll tell us that we're niggas and spicks and wetbacks in the middle of these economic recessionary setbacks. I don't understand. Somebody please help me understand why they keep on building prisons instead of building beautiful prisms for our children. You gotta pay to get in a community center, and when the community enters in a discussion, they call it a rebellion. This is failure, and it's not no one's fault, but it's everybody's responsibility. But this lack of responsibility is killing me. I know I've exceeded my time, but outside of my mind, I always exceed time. But this racism thing gets on my nerves. It's been 40, 50, 60, 70 years, and we're still crying tears because somebody discriminated. I hate it, so that's why I fight it. I hate it, so that's why I fight it. The only way to fight racism is to be educated about the system that we're in. Be friends with those that you would normally hate and debate anybody that comes off in a closed mind stance. I close my stance. I never close my chance. Racism is foolish, but it's necessary to help us get to the knowledge that we need to feed each other. It's just food for thought. You do the dishes. Get to walking and stop wishing.